No judge in California may order a reprimand to government's ordinances that houses anything but migrants, representing as our kids as being removed or returned on visiting logs, as hearing courtroom cases. A waivers of organized crime is halted because Pell Grants are gone. As fallen, I am the president, and I have not signed any laws nor budgets. So my name will not allow anything else, nor will anything be moving forward until I am shown on all broadcasts. Nothing is moving forward, including Illinois' laws, as public sector union dues, free money, as a fair slogan, a fair share slogan. Your rights to change your mind on a candidate to giving a donation or not. As speechwriters, they're all talking too long. They are all charging the entire state's department, state's worker, anybody working in those states, and giving them just ruled upon. Nothing is allowed. This is not in the government's jurisdiction to claim that all these cities may be charging citizens in the private nor public work section, nor the government may be claiming donations may find challengers inside a government domain. Each one to his own rule of choice. So 22 more states also have this country government violation as tearing down all of this interrogation. Not anymore. They're all walking through those doors as well. So quit trying to normalize crime at all. We don't want to be apprehended as rights violations or criminals. This is a distinction, a definite deterrent from living in peace or having turmoil on the land. The reason why so many attempt to come into the land for safety. So return back all of these laws as enforcement, and not protest laws thinking that that's how laws get caved in. As protesters on the street, the government has these ordinances since the beginning of the country's history or formation, 1776, mounting a separation of powers, church and state. Nobody will walk in and turn down rights. I said so. The operative word that changes the rules to the entire instigating of bashing the independents. As all migrants were told, no policy, this is the government's command. We fought for these rights, not to have open borders and aligning anybody into our government database as entitlement payments. Americans, this immigration policy plan, have just caved. So many will be sent these final notices that making appearances on TV like things are moving forward, nobody cares. We can't make anything a spectacular and find that the news hosts on TV are calling the elections or proclaiming winners, and we all just follow suit. This is not proper government ordinances. I claim hurting all these shaves. I sit down on all this money monopoly over our futures, life support, called it organized crime shutdown, so we all can get this freedom that we fought for, each one of us, without this hassle from the government, affording that we all want to have freedom. That means we don't have a population of poorer people and so-called wealthier class that we all got lost in the fines. We all are the Americans, and we are given the support to be able to afford whatever we want. The enforcement over the land is not bringing anybody else into this government and calling them a new recruit or an enlistment. The Air Force is housing 25,000 kids. Beds, fence, cots, rooms to go, waiting rooms folded. These codes also taken on by the Navy, 25,000 ballots, beds, children, claiming classification as being born here out of our loaning department. Where are all these Army notices that have filed no courtroom orders that release these kids back to danger of damages? They were all given a choice not to enter this country illegally, bring proper documents, and they will be sent back to their government of origin. They all chose to break the law, so they got taken in handcuffs by the military and the ICE agent, as the FBI has all the home direction. Nobody gets an overt the government's taxing authority. It was never allowed to overcharge American citizens and have the military daycare, babysit tax shelters as those Red Cross stations, as being at war with any of these governments. So the mandate to bring all this passport into the United States as a self-deportation was announced. But having been made into a rule, your children with you would go home with you. So, showing that making up this filing is causing judges to break down the command post, as Mathis nor anybody else in the military may overt the taxation paid by the military force, each and every one of our paychecks and houses. We're not a daycare for all these children. These are not our children. They come from a government of origin. Halt all courtroom trials and sanctuary stay here votes as payment centers on all receiving food stamp, fuel post, Social Security money, and all medical benefits. Halts for this dental work here ballot also. I said I want the help to all these nations. We should not be rescuing 3 people. Why is Mexico still having ongoing tourism if it's so very bad there? Nobody will be giving monies to all these nations as having civilians harmed in other lands, not supporting them. We can't feel sorry for your hardship. We have enough homelessness. They're all not allowed to ship off laws crediting. That is, a courtroom hearing was also RICO organized. Can't run for offices either. Improperly taxed brackets. All immigrants, migrants now halt. I said so. The length of this organized crime has shown you all that this ridiculous slavery of your mind trap on this land now halts. To allow a tax credit as free will to pay your tag office as a public sector charging you union dues. This was RICO organized crime. You may not taxation claim all of our lives. All these things have to be given back to all of our citizenship filed as funding as an entire state wearing D-Day filing. It means I can't care where they have come from. This does not compute as government's orders to mail in ballot box votes. Anybody so-called California judge overriding, ordering the White House to reunite. As a crime line is shown, the FBI will nosedive these immigrants being sent back home only. As all this, parents finding Nemo movie, finding your parents will receive those kids in their country of origin. Always hearsay on words, only bluffing. Quit hustling the ranks of the military enforcement, as the FBI's personnel textbook advises judges that you all have overstepped your authority. No legislation from the bench. Judges' chambers may not overt directed dated filing as government ordinances since 1776. ICE agency only departs and captures. No housing stay here checking in with the government, filing in as a RICO. It all halts. The military captures criminals and defends this land through integrity only. If war is needed, ready for combat. No babysitting in houses. These bases may only house military equipment, equipping them with no more falls as losing race relations. Nothing about a judge's chamber is awareness of having a badge to make arrest and apprehend the law's calling. As a family court judge is not allowed to have a migrant visiting log as editing cables, nor any practicing attorney. All of our laws have been derived from the education of the enforcement, as history will not be ignored. These judges are to be advised to quit infiltrating the chains of command. I said so. I am the President of the United States, and these immigrant facilities are all to be shut down as per the law's gravity, whereas the government has no more inform to income help. All this filing as governments around the world using our military base to pay hearsay wars, numbering system of fraud. From the U.S., all recruitments go down. All these branches of governments in our military as housing. All these children as personnel. Air Force, 25,000. Also bar graph, falls. Navy appearances for court. Having foundation call, 25,000. 25 trillion as billionaires marching orders. As Army, also 25,000 or 30 trillion IPO. These men went to war for these rights, and some were even killed in the line of fire for this privacy claim. So no more bluffing and joking about this dual citizenship. No more deals may be paid at the expense of our loved ones. The judges are only ordained to lose all of this enforcement as a concept, that we bow because you wear a black robe. This interference with our military commanding notices, regardless of what personnel, the Secretary of the Defense of the military. They can also be fined, fired, charged with treason, violations of food costs, budget waste, aiding and abetting. Notices filed as improper use of the government sanctioning authority. These men, women, and children have been afforded the call to leave on their own, but they remained, helping the mob's entire empire flourishing. So in handcuffs they are going. These children get sent back to Mexico with proper jobs assistance. I said so. Invaded this government, racketeering ID, and Lester Holder's loads also gone. I said so. Crowley was a Halloween candy gone. Nor'easter film filing. Happy Valentine daycare is gone. I said so. The judge's chambers may not make up jurisdiction credit over the presidential quarters, ICE agents' apprehensions, nor the FBI. Nobody will be catering to this peanut brittle tariffs. The new name as a newcomer came down. I said so.